because they thought Oklahoma was desolate, flat, you know, so they've moved the Indians there, and then they found oil. So then there's another, that's another big problem, because then they found out, well, how are we going to steal this from the Indians? Dang, we gave this land to them. And so they found out that if they kill the parents and adopt the kids, then they can start drilling in that oil. So there's a lot, and these kids weren't being taken care of. There's a lot of stories about these, you know, little kids running around hungry and dirty and didn't have clothes, and they weren't getting educated because their parents were killed, and these attorneys would throw them a bone once in a while they were drilling for oil and sucking this child should have been very wealthy and rich. Instead, they starved and died to death, and then these, you know, these attorneys who would have the wealth of that oil. So that's been going on a long time, you know, and for a long time, you know, you didn't hear anything about the American Indian movement. There was, like, after Wounded Knee and all of the efforts they did, which brought the American Indian movement into the limelight of the American, you know, society, TV, media, news. That brought in some funds for the local urban Indians who were relocated for jobs and moved off the reservation so that they can learn a trade. You know, my father was one of them. He became a welder and moved out to San Francisco and became a welder out there. And, you know, I think the efforts of the American Indian movement at that time, you know, actually brought funding which helped me to get paid for my education. So now that I have a good job, and when I seen, I was going to powwow, and I saw the American Indian movement there, and I thought, you know, I really want to help out myself, you know, and I want to get involved and help wherever I can.
So how can someone show their support for Leonard Peltier? How can we keep this going to push for him to be pardoned? Well,
you know, the main thing right now is Leonard has a defense committee. It's the Leonard Peltier Defense Offense Committee, and Leonard said he was tired. It used to just be the Leonard Peltier Defense Committee, but Leonard was tired of being always on the defense, so he says, I want to put offense in the title so we can do some offensive stuff to kind of be more proactive to help his case. And so right now people can go to the website, www.whoisleonardpeltier.info, and there's a whole list of things if you want to educate yourself more about who is Leonard Peltier. There's all the information is there, and what the Defense Committee has done over the years. You know, all the papers they filed with the court to try and get him released, and listing. There's on that website. There's a listing of all of the across the country, all the local Leonard Peltier support groups, the branch groups, the chapters that are to help Leonard. And there's one locally, the local one here in Santa Maria, is Joe Gonzalez just started a chapter here. So people can go to the website and check out, oh, there's in California, Sampson Wolfe is there, Donna Wallach is up in the Bay Area, there's Aaron Robidoux, he's up in Oakland, and there's Joe Bear Gonzalez down here in Santa Maria. So, and all their contact numbers are there. So if you want to get involved and to help out in a local group and organize, go to powwows, or you know, we do music events, TV, radio shows, and trying to educate the people about Leonard's plight to help him, because right now Leonard's needs a lot of help. And
can I ask a question? Like the things that Leonard Peltier has endured in prison, is it based on the fact that he's a political prisoner, or is he facing what all prisoners face with not getting immediate health care, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Leonard has been, it's always a struggle to get him help. They have, you know, they can get taken care of in prisons of prisoners if they need to get help. They take him to the hospital or whatever. They do help him out. But Leonard hasn't been getting the help that he needs. You know, his diabetes is a problem. It's caused his eyesight to be bad. And, you know, diabetes is really high in the Native American communities. A lot of it has to do with because they didn't, you know, taken away from their hunting grounds and eating the traditional foods that they've been eating for thousands of years, all of a sudden were taken away, and they were forced on the reservation, and so they started taking these handouts from the government, which is flour and some lard and some cheese, really bad, unhealthy food. So they would eat that to have some sort of sustenance and to survive. So, and that created a lot of health issues. So Leonard is one of these people. He also has diabetes. He's got bone spurs in his feet. For a long time, he had these problems with his jaw that he had to have surgery on. And every time, he was in real bad pain because he used to have to stand up and do work. You have to work when you're in prison. He had his job. You have to stand on his feet for a long time, and it would really bother him. So, we'd organize and contact the Bureau of Prisons. We'd write to and say, hey, why don't you give Leonard the help he needs? And we'd write to the President of the United States, and it would just take thousands and thousands of letters and phone calls before they would do anything. And
so I guess you were saying earlier that February 6th is a big date for Leonard Peltier. But also, what other upcoming events are happening surrounding Leonard Peltier and his effort and issue?
Yeah, Leonard. Every year at this time is the anniversary of Leonard's arrest, when he was arrested. And so we always try and have an event for Leonard in February, around February 6th this weekend. I usually have one for him every year. This year I've just been too busy with my job. I have a lot of work that I've been doing for my job, for my own self, and I just didn't have the time to organize something. So I was glad when you called and said that, there's an opportunity for me to come down and talk about Leonard on this weekend, because it's something that I do. I've been doing it every year for the past 10 years. So I'm thankful that you let me come down.
So thankful to have you.
Thank you. And so now I lost my train of thought. The question.
Is there a concert coming up?
Oh yeah. There's some events that are happening for Leonard. Yeah. Well, I just sent my application for the Stanford powwow, which is one of the largest powwows on the West Coast here, and it's expensive there. It's like $425 to get a booth there. Yeah. So, but they've been letting me get a booth there for the last 10 years. There's concerts that are underway for Leonard, and there's several of them that are happening. You can go to the website, who is Leonard Peltier .info, and there's a lot. That's the hub for all the information.
Great.
And if you just type in Leonard Peltier's name and to do a search, there's a lot of other websites there.
I think one of them is even run by the FBI.
One of them is there's a retired FBI that wrote a book about the American Indian movement is the like compared them to the mafia, and it's very derogatory and slanderous, and I just don't. It's just they won't let go. They won't let go. Yeah. But there's not the FBI. They killed a man, and they haven't done any time for the murder that they did.
Exactly.
So you can see it's one-sided. It's very one-sided, and the FBI also have bumbled some other cases with the Ruby Ridge incident, and they've killed this guy's wife. The Freeman that they killed this guy. Also the Waco, Texas.
So there's many examples.
They have there's a lot of examples of the FBI's doing some injustices to regular white Americans.
Exactly. And
so Leonard Peltier's the prosecuting attorney in Leonard's case said, we don't know who killed these FBI agents, but somebody has to pay. And Leonard has been paying for the last 35 years. And now he has some serious health issues that are going on. Okay. And we need to get him some help. So.
Well, Sampson, I want to thank you again for coming all the way down here to be on the show. And this has been a very valuable information for all of us. And please let us know. I know that there's a concert being planned in the near future up in the Bay Area, but I know we'd like to do something here in Santa Barbara to show our support for Leonard Peltier and educate as many people as we can on Leonard. And so for those of you that would like to check out our website, we're at www.aimsb.org, and we are also on Facebook and MySpace and Twitter. So again, I want to thank Sampson for coming on the show, and I hope we can have him back on the show.
Yeah, thank you from Leonard, too. Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks.